Hello, I'm Richard Hooper and this is SatTV Week. Now I'm pleased to be joined by Andrew Bond of ETL Systems. Andrew, thank you for joining me today.
Very nice to see you, Richard.
Now, look, let's get to the crux of the matter. The satellite market is not that stable, it's changing, there's a lot of disruptors, but the significant part is the ground segment. How is that changing to embrace the change?
Sure. I've heard a lot of different viewpoints over the last year, and certainly here at Communication in Singapore, in the satellite section, we've seen a lot of talk about the impacts of the new LEO constellations and how they will affect the old MEO and GEO satellites that we've grown up and been used to carrying signals for. ETL Systems carries on as ever, providing really good quality RF ground segment equipment, and we will do for a time being, because we're seeing a paradigm shift in the way that the RF signal goes up and down from satellites, and both in frequencies and also how it distributes on the ground as well. And those are some of the points that I want to talk to you about today.
Now, as you wander around the show, I was at CabSat before this one. Everybody's talking about the digitization of the ground segment, software in the cloud. What does that all mean?
Well, it's an interesting one. You've got an evolution of both the GEO high throughput satellites and an evolution again with the new LEO constellations. And we're hearing a lot about software-defined payloads on satellites. And I think the ground segment as well needs to evolve to be a software-defined and a software-enabled ground segment, so we can actually use evolving equipment to be able to handle different signals and route those into the cloud. Now, to answer your question, what is happening is that we are seeing products on the ground be able to digitize a standard RF signal at the antenna end and to put it into the cloud. And so you're absolutely right. What we used to do, what we currently do is the equipment behind me, which is the old RF signals going into modems, and it's using coax, is very established, and you'll find that in the majority of teleports. But the technology moving on is into this virtualization, and that means that we can now digitize up to 2 gig bandwidth of downlink and uplink signals, and we can put that into cloud networks. And the important message for those people who are considering doing it is to make sure that they have a good enough IP infrastructure to be able to handle those IP signals. Because obviously you have some amazingly high definition signals, and we're coming into the French Olympics. The moment you get a camera feed, which is then digitized, you're going to need to be able to process a lot of high bit rate and be able to put that down into 100 gigabit Ethernet pipes. And if you haven't got that infrastructure, then you need to, if you're going to evolve into the digitization of the RF network.
Now, as a layman looking at this, digitization of an established ground segment network comes with some inherent threats, cybersecurity, hackers. How is the satellite industry addressing that?
Well, the real benefit of digitization is that the cloud it's not just it's a private network. So you need to think about the fact that if you're digitizing the signals, you're able to see the downlink and uplink of antennas and control those anywhere that antenna is. And you can now encrypt and decrypt behind the wire. So in a way, digitization provides an enhanced level of security, which we didn't have before. So actually it's a tick box in terms of IP security. So it's certainly not an open platform as you suggest. But the important thing is the evolution. One of the issues is really price. At the moment, this is a new technology. It's still evolving. We're seeing increased data rates, processing rates of an RF signal, but it will take some time for the price to come down to make it affordable for the standard teleports. I mean, we're currently using normal RF distribution equipment, and it will take time for the teleports to evolve and move into the digitization frame because it costs money to change equipment. You can't do it overnight.
So final question. ETL, is it evolving driven by the market, or are you evolving driven by the customer?
Well, arguably the market is the customer and the customer is the market. So you're absolutely right. We've got a responsibility as well to educate, and our guys are becoming more consultative in the approach. We're not just selling products. We're now educating engineers in teleports and ground stations around the world into what is evolving and what is going to happen in the market. It's not just the digital domain. It is also a change in frequency. So Q and V band is being pushed very hard at the moment, and we've got some product ranges in our frequency converters which are going to be coming online very soon. But it is also making sure that we're dealing with this new era of LEO constellations. So LEO is great for high bandwidth, and we're seeing certainly a big dominance by certain players, and it would be good to see other constellations moving. But still, the old GEO satellites do have a role to play. They are handling very high definition signals. They're able to provide good, reliable content around the world. And I think it's really great to see some real powerhouses like SES and Intelsat joining forces in the market, because I think that will allow people to see how they are showing that their MEO and GEO fleets certainly there's life in them yet, as they say.
Andrew, thank you very much.
Okay, speak to you.